Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us again for our on-demand webinar. Today's topic is about the 10 common mistakes when investing in Dubai real estate. I made some of these mistakes myself when I was investing in Dubai real estate before I met these gentlemen, and I think it's a really good opportunity for us to really share and showcase some of the mistakes that mostly everybody makes that doesn't have proper guidance. So we're going to jump right in, guys. We have 10 today, and we're going to start off with the first mistake that most commonly is done here, which is overlooking location specifics here. And I'll start off by passing it over to Waleed to start off.
Perfect. I appreciate it. So one of the most important mistakes, obviously, there's a few things that everyone needs to look at. And one of the most important things is when you're looking at location, you can't get overly excited about like a project or a particular property. And it also depends on that individual. Are you going to be an end user? Are you an investor? And you have to look at the area as a whole. The first thing you have to look at is, hey, look at the infrastructure of that particular area that you're thinking of purchasing a property as an investment or as an end user. So looking at the infrastructure, the connectivity, which is like the roads, the metro, where is it connecting to? Are you far away from those or are you nearby? Because obviously if it's more connected, the better that property is going to be, especially if you are an investor. Another thing is looking at the government. Is it a government-backed program? And what are they building around that area? So if there's like airports, if there's Expo City, if it's downtown Dubai, is it Business Bay? What is going to attract people to that area? And it depends again on an end user or not. If it's an end user, as there's malls, is there schools, is there hospitals? What is that? That's going to bring more people into that area and the community itself. And so that's going to be something that's very important when you're looking at it. Let's stick to an investor. Are you looking for a long-term tenant in the property or looking for short-term tenants? And how are people going to look at it? So if you sum it all up, is infrastructure, connectivity, is there any government incentives? Is there any government backing when it comes to that location or that builder, that development? It's not just about everyone gets hyped and excited about a new launch and they forget about is that launch, is that developer going to be conducive for their goals? And if
Very
it is,
true.
then great. If it's not, don't get sucked up in buying properties because that's how you end up losing. And you find a property that you're looking at high ROI and you're like, hey, this is more of a long-term play. I'm not really getting the ROI that I was looking for. And now you blame someone else based on that.
Very true. Very true. Very true. That actually segues over to mistake number two in regards to the ROI is that a lot of people will commonly don't understand the question of what is ignoring the total cost of ownership, right? So I want to invest in Dubai. I've invested in other places. When I invest in other places, there is a cost of ownership. So I'm going to pass this over to Rashid. And Rashid, can you tell us, what total cost of ownership are people ignoring, and if there's any?
So we wouldn't call it as home ownership association, basically.
Hmm.
It's more like, first of all, you've got the Dubai Land Department 4% fees that if it's not waived, you need to pay them on top of what the unit is worth. And then you've got the service charges depending on where the location is, what is the building. This is a cost that usually are not told to the investors. Number three is if it's not a very new building, you've got maintenance. You need to take care of the unit, make it basically be in best shape before renting it.
Yeah.
So all of those things are actually costs on the investor or the owner who's going to come and rent it out. So after taking away all of those costs, then you get the net ROI. So not all 10% ROI guaranteed or whatever is actually true
Mm.
because they have not calculated the net, the cost you have to get the net. So this is basically gross. So this is something I would say which is not usually explained to the investors, especially the new investors that are investing in Dubai. So this is something to keep an eye out. And if ever they think of investing, they need to know those numbers. Those numbers are very important.
Got it. Got it. And segueing over to the next one here, which is something that a lot of people also don't really understand. And sometimes people are investing in Dubai for these reasons here, which are failing to understand visa and ownership regulations. So what does that really mean? And if you can explain to me like kind of what common mistakes are done when it comes to the visa and the ownership regulations.
Okay, so not all areas in Dubai are freehold. Basically, freehold is owned by any nationality. So we've got areas that are only owned by GCC and locals. So by GCC are the countries in the Gulf, and there are specific areas where it is freehold, basically for everyone. Yes, we do have cases where GCC locations were converted into freehold, which actually boosted the market a lot, making a lot of foreign investors come and invest and actually fight for those lands or areas, basically. So this is number one. Number two, visas, especially the golden visa. The golden visa is basically an invitation. It's an invitation to the world for everyone to come and be a part of Dubai, have a long-term visa, long-term residency, where the golden visa you've got can give you the benefit of you leaving the UAE more than 6 months and coming back with you still having the visa with you. So this is one thing that basically gives them lessens all the hassle for them. Going through the process from the beginning is a headache. So there are several visas. I don't want to go into
Yeah,
each one in
yeah.
specific. The most talked about one is the golden visa, which is actually a very affordable price for 2 million dirhams, getting a golden visa, which is a 10-year visa, and
Okay.
having a lot of benefits with this visa. We will keep this going into details for
Yeah.
another time.
Yeah.
But basically, this is it.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. And I think Donald Trump kind of stole the idea of Dubai and starting his own little golden visa over here. I'm not sure how well it's doing compared to Dubai, but it's definitely you guys started a trend over there. The number four that I have here on the list here, guys, that which is I believe is very important here. A lot of people obviously are hearing all about the hype of Dubai and investing into Dubai here, but they fail to neglect the market cycle and timing, right? Which is a very, very important thing, especially if you're a investor. So, Rashid, again, going back to you, can you kind of just tell us a little bit in regards to what are the economic indicators and what things here in regards to the cycles that we should be looking out for when investing in Dubai?
See, it's been going up and up and up in the previous years. Something to have a look at is the price trends basically before investing. What are the areas that are actually trending at the moment? Where are the areas that actually need buildings to be built in those areas? Who are the developers that are developing in those areas? Those are key things to have an eye out onto. You need to know all of this information. Going into the market blindly, it's basically gambling.
Yeah.
Okay. And then considering whether you're going to invest in something off plan or ready, this is something else that people need to consider before just going into the market and be like, yes, I want something that's actually getting me returns immediately without doing their studies and due diligence about everything.
Yeah, no,
Basically,
that's perfect, Rashid, because you actually are touching on the next mistake, which is understanding the due diligence, right? So the due diligence here is a very important thing. A lot of my friends here that have invested in Dubai or they buy anything based on the price, and I'm like, guys, you guys need to understand that the developer matters, the location matters. So can you kind of tell us a little bit in regards to what common mistakes people do when it comes to the due diligence?
you answered it yourself, Tamer. You need to do all of those research. And another thing is that events, world events, major events, like when we had the expo, when we're having the now we, for example, I'll give you a small example, which is our Dubai Trade Center's exhibitions are all going to get shifted to Dubai South. That means basically an expo. That means expo is not done. Expo is not dead. Expo has actually it actually created a lot of opportunities in the area, a lot of investments in the area. And believe it or not, Expo is still going to be a hub for exhibitions. It's going to be a hub for innovation. It's going to be a hub for so many things. I can keep going. I can keep going on and take the whole time of this webinar. Knowing where the major events are going to be, is something very important, I would say. Verifying the developers, as you said, knowing if this area is actually a freehold area or not a freehold area for them to actually do their studies on it. Basically, you don't want to waste your time doing your study on an area where you can't even own.
Got it.
So
Got
all
it.
of those things are very straightforward from the beginning. And one thing for ready projects is that the new owner has to make sure that it does not have any legal problems. When we say legal problems, sometimes it takes time for the ownership to get transferred because there are some legal problems happening.
And that's actually number 6 as well too, Rashid. And I'll pass this one over to Walid. Is in regards to what are the most common mistakes as well too, that people are constantly overlooking the off-plan investment risks, right? Off-plan is such a huge thing right now. There's so many towers that are being built, but people are just once again just diving in without really understanding what the off-plan investment risks are. So Walid, can you kind of tell us a little bit in regards to what risks we should look out for?
Absolutely. So one of the most important things when they're looking at off-plan is the developer, the credibility of the developer, how long it's going to take for that off-plan construction to be completed. And on top of that, one of the most important things which I've seen, and I think Rashid would agree, is investors jump in because of the price point and the down payment, but then they don't realize the other costs that come with off-plans. For example, if you're putting 10 or 20% down, what are the monthly payments based on the actual developer? Is it 1% per month? Is it 10% every 6 months? And how long do you have to make these payments until, is it a 50-50 where you pay 50% during the construction and then you have a lump sum once construction is completed? Or does it have a post handover, which means that you could actually make a payment after a certain amount of time once the construction is done? On top of that, if you're an investor and you're thinking about ROI, you know you're actually spending money in the beginning without any returns for a certain amount of years, and you have to take that into consideration. I know in the past they were talking about more of the escrows and developers having delays or as they run out of money, they go bankrupt. The DLD has completely changed that where now they have to have an escrow account and the money can't not be deducted unless certain criteria are met. The developer can't just go into the escrow account and pull money out whenever they feel like it. They have to show a certain percentage of construction being completed, or if they're doing marketing, how much money can be allocated towards the marketing of that development. But that is something to look at. Also, the finishes. Some areas in off plans is over an abundance of development being done, and now you're purchasing a property thinking for capital appreciation, and that doesn't happen the way you think it is.
Got it. Got it. And then, that also kind of rolls into mistake number 7, which is probably something that you deal with your brokerage here in the United States here is, and I'm sure you see this in your own buyers and sellers as well too, is inadequate financial planning, right? I think you actually would be a really good person to answer this here because you've done hundreds and hundreds of transactions here in the States here, but is it the same kind of behavior that translates here in the States over there as well too in regards to that? I mean, what frequent mistakes should investors be looking out for in regards to making these investments out there?
That's a great question. I almost fell into that trap, and thank God Rashid had helped me with it as well. You get so excited about buying these properties because if you're out here in the States and you're looking relatively to the prices in Dubai, you're like, hey, it's really cheap. I'm going to keep on buying and buying and buying. And then you don't realize, hey, did I actually budget for all these off plans without having income coming in? So, and depending on most people always say, oh, you could make an easy payment plan and get a mortgage. One of the biggest mistakes is not everyone can get a mortgage. There's actually qualifications to get one. Do you have money in a bank account? Is that bank account been seasoned for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? Do you have a work visa? Are you a resident of the city? You can't just go in and knock on the door and say, hey, I want a mortgage, please give me one, and you've never stepped foot in Dubai.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
I almost fell into that trap myself, to be honest with you guys. I mean, coming from Los Angeles, hearing about a luxury building and selling a unit for 200,000 US is like, oh wow, I can buy three of them, right? But that is, I did not do any financial planning. I was just pretty much just looking at the price based on what's the psychology that I have in my mind coming from the States, right? But that's not the right way of doing proper investments, right?
you have to break it down. Okay, what is the total cost? What is the down payment? What is the DLD payment? Also, if there's obviously like here in the state to be considered HOA, and they
Mm,
go based on the total square footage, including any common areas outside, like if you have a balcony and how big the balcony is,
mm,
and how much that monthly payment is going to be. What is the utilities cost of that building? And so you have to factor in, okay, here's the total payments. This is what my monthly expenses is going to be,
yeah.
or my biannual expenses. And then, okay, can I actually afford to buy this property, or do I get caught up? And then what happens, it becomes a distressed sale. So
Sure.
people buy the property, and Rashid, how often you get it where now I need to sell because
Yeah.
I have the
I actually put something on my story a couple of days ago, if you saw.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
There was someone who bought something that he was not he didn't financially plan for it, and through another agent, and now he wants to sell it below the market price or below what the opening price actually. So he's selling
Yeah.
it at a
money.
loss. He
Yeah.
doesn't have the financials to continue. So he's like, I don't want to risk keeping it and doing the payment plan than actually not having the money. So when I know I cannot afford it right now, I just want to get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That and
This is
that.
something. This is something when you deal with people who just want to sell.
Yeah.
They would show you everything that's good and not show you the bad side and not give you not basically be on your side with the financials. Tamara, I've had a client that sat with me and I've done the complete opposite of what a real estate agent should be doing.
Mm.
He came with me with his checkbook ready. He sat with me. He put the checkbook in front of me and he was like, the project you were talking about, I want to invest in it. I was like, yes, but I remember you told me on the phone that you had financial issues. He's like, no, I don't have financial issues, but I've got payments I need to do, which are 1.2 million within a month, and then he's got like 200,000 he needs to pay for another project. I was like, how are you going to afford for this project? He's like, it's
Mm.
fine. I'm going to sell it and I'm going to pay for it. I'm like, what if you don't sell it?
Yeah. Over
Let's
leveraging.
let's let's
Yeah.
let's be realistic. And if you don't sell it, you're gonna come back to me and be like, Rashid, please sell me my apartment
Yeah.
or my unit.
Yeah.
And who's
Yeah.
actually winning? Are you winning? No. Am I winning? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I want a,
Yeah. The
a, a
agent.
win-lose situation? I don't want that.
Yeah.
If it's not a win-win, I'd
Yeah.
rather lose the deal, gain your trust, than just close the deal with you.
Yeah. And I believe as well too, which is actually leads to number 8 here is a lot of agents out there and brokerages, they dangle the carrot, right, of unrealistic rental yields, right? That's the number one thing, right? Is like rental, right? We can get high rental. So the expectations are most of the time unrealistic, which leads to these kind of fire sales, right? So being that it's mistake number 8, can we just quickly touch on what, understanding actually the rental market dynamics in regards to that and the seasons? Like people are not coming to Dubai as much in the summer as they are coming in the winter years, and how does that affect? If we can just kind of give a very quick common mistake in regards to the rental dynamics, Rashid.
Summer is slow all over the world, not just in Dubai.
Mhm.
So there is a dead period
True.
which is slow all over the world. It's not
True.
just Dubai. So people will blame the heat for Dubai, but this is something all over the world, basically.
True.
Yes, a couple of countries might have more attractions to them in summer. The majority don't actually. So number one is they need to know the location. There are locations that are very good for ROI, but they're not very good for capital appreciation. You need to choose which one you want. You let go of one and get one. So you can't have you can't have them both. If you decide to go this way, then yes, you're going on the right way. Then you need to understand the difference between the short term and the long term. If you go to short term, there are some benefits and there are disadvantages. So there are advantages and disadvantages in this scenario as well, where if you decide to sell your unit in the future, you can sell it without without waiting for the tenant to leave after the contract is done. Number two is you have different people coming in and out of your unit where you can rent it out on daily basis, which is more expensive than you renting it on long term. This is number two. But if you come and think about the disadvantages, it's been used a lot. So your unit needs to this is where maintenance cost is higher. So it's not just one person using it, it's many people using it. So you need to keep maintaining it and keeping it in good shape. Number two is that, as you said, dead seasons. When it's dead, what are you going to do? There's no one in the unit. You're paying service charges on those dead months. So all of those things you need to calculate as well. And you need to know, not just come into the market and be like, and what I've been getting lately is people coming up to me and they're like, we want 25% ROI. What kind of investment are you doing? And it's not a business. This is an asset you're putting your money into. You're building your portfolio. You're fighting inflation. So don't come to me and tell me I'm looking for 25% ROI, which if they go to someone else, they might say, yes, we can get you with 25% ROI. And they can sell them something. And after they receive the commission, they're not there anymore.
Sure. And
Look
that's
for people who are actually committed to what they're doing, have passion for their work, and are actually based and always going to stay in the UAE. Not someone who, if you go and look for, and in the next year or two, you won't find in the UAE. This makes sense. This makes sense.
It does. And it's actually, once again, another time, it segues over to the next one here. And this is the last one for Walid here is exactly what Rashid was saying is the emotional decision making, right? Is overestimating the potential returns, ignoring the professional advice, and being caught up in all the marketing hype that everyone is seeing here in regards to Dubai. So really quick, Walid, can you kind of just tell us about the emotional decision making? I know that you've been a part of it. I've been a part of it. And it's something that a lot of people get sucked up upon because Dubai does an amazing job in marketing itself.
I mean, Dubai is an amazing city and everyone knows that, and that's why they're getting a lot of attraction. But it's not just because of the attractions, but also what the UAE and Dubai is doing in general with building up the city for not only its locals but for residents in general. There's a lot of great things that are happening. One of the things that I think is a pitfall is the word luxury gets thrown out like it's nothing. It's like luxury this, luxury that, high ROI. And so people see the tall buildings, they see the beautiful oceans, they see the technology and the cleanliness and the safety. Like, I want to be a part of it. But you have to do your due diligence and having the right investor, like what Rashid just said. I went into it. I went to an event. I spoke to someone and they pitched this project and this villa and it was amazing. I was like, I want it. And I put my EOI in and next thing you know, it was a different project. It was not the same project, different unit or villa, not near where it was. And it took me a while to get it. And thank God I had Rashid help me navigate through that situation and invest in a different one. You have to look at it also. There are pitfalls with emotions. We're like, I want to buy a property and I want to invest and I want to rent it out. Great. There's property management costs. The higher the inventory and people moving and the competition. So like, for example, like Airbnb and short-term rentals, there's a lot of competition. Maybe what the ROI was 2-3 years ago and more units hitting the market now, you have to anticipate that.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
And a lot of people here, in regards to what your story was, like you went with Rashid to a developer event, right? However, if you were
No. He went to the developer event by himself. He met me after he fell for the scam.
See, well, that's you know what? So that once again another perfect segue, and this is the mistake number 10, our final one, which I believe is a perfect segue again, is that based on Walid's story, going to the developer directly, right? And the potential mistakes that a lot of people have made. And I believe, Walid, you almost made it, right? Before you actually, consulted with Rashid. So Rashid, wrap us up here. Number 10, go in here. What is the common mistake that people do just going directly to the developer?
I'll tell you the difference between going directly to the developer or going through an agent. Imagine this. Imagine having someone that's got your back. And imagine someone that has a lot of people coming over to them, and they would obviously prioritize whoever's paying more. Okay? So going directly to a developer he's not actually working for you. He's actually working for the developer. So whatever they have is the best. Whatever you're getting from them is the best. They will just try to pitch any project from the developer which they work for you in order for you to invest. If you go to an independent agent, or not an independent agent, I would say an agent from an agency, broker agent from an agency that is not directly from the developer, number one, they are not biased towards the developer, or they should not be biased towards the developer, I would say, because there are developers that lure agents with high commissions. Number two is even in high demand launches, imagine having someone that will go and fight to get a unit for you. Walid, you remember that yourself.
Oh yeah.
You remember that yourself when we went in and the only thing left was I almost had to throw punches for us to get a unit for Walid.
Yeah.
So having someone that's committed to you 100% in order to help you and get you the unit you wanted, or if not the unit you wanted, something close. This is what you should actually be looking for, rather than just going to a developer directly, and they would prioritize, because since they have a lot of inquiries or a lot of demand, they would be prioritizing whoever is paying the most.
Absolutely.
You would come later on when the business is slow, and they will be like, "We're sorry for what happened. We will compensate, do this, do that for you. We've got this project, we've got that project. Please choose one."
Absolutely.
What is this after you lost on everything and you didn't get any replies?
Yeah.
So this is something you need to keep in mind. Any person who needs to keep this in mind, and this is for all the people who come and ask for information and go directly to the developer. I get issues like this, but on the long run, it's not me that's losing. I know the market. I always have good connections with my investors and clients. I'm always there for them. But if you go directly to the developer, Walid can explain the rest to you.
I mean, he's already definitely gone through that. What I got out of that is, you will definitely fight for your clients, right? And I use the word fight in regards to throwing fists, like you were just saying, right?
Well, I mean, I'll just add really quick, if I could chime in, you got to look at it this way. When you're going strictly to a developer, the developer's 100% interest is to sell a unit, and doesn't matter who. When you go to not even just the regular broker, you have to go to the right broker with credibility. They're biased, so they're supposed to give you all the good, bad, and indifferent information and guide you through that process. And when you go, like for myself, goes directly to a developer, they're selling you. That's all they're doing.
Sure.
Versus a developer is supposed to harvest, and I'm sorry, a broker harvests that relationship and guides you what purchase to do.
Advising you.
Yeah, advising. I mean, there's a ton of properties and there's a ton of opportunities. Is which one is the right one for you?
Awesome. Well, yeah, guys, that's perfect. We'll wrap it up at that. I think those were the 10 perfect common mistakes that not only have we seen, have we heard, but some of us on this call have actually been through. So, we're just trying to advise you guys and protect you guys here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for everyone for being and joining this call here. We definitely suggest to book a meeting with us. We'll explain. There are actually 10 more mistakes that commonly are made. We didn't just include them on this podcast here. So please fill in the contact form and we'll be sure to contact you guys. Thank you again, Rashid and Walid. And until the next one. Thank you, guys.